Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. So, here we go. It's the Nakamurphy era. We're gonna get quite a bit of this leading up to WrestleMania, and I just have to say this is a sad day. I don't mean to repeat myself over the past couple of videos, you know, I still can't get over thinking about the Royal Rumble winners of the past. You think about it. Ric Flair, right? Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Batista, John Cena, and Nakamurphy of all people. And I'm just something is just doesn't sit right here with me. I don't know why they decided on this. I think back to WrestleMania, and I think back to the Royal Rumble rather, and how sweet it would have been, not just for me to come here in these videos and mock the YWC fans and all the Nakamurphy New Japan fans. But imagine if Roman Reigns tossed out Nakamurphy. Could you imagine how great that would have been for the heel heat? That would have cemented Roman Reigns forever as one of the most hated men in all of WWE and all of wrestling. You couldn't buy heat like that. You couldn't manufacture heat like that. It would be a natural heat getter like no other. And there would be no turning back. Roman Reigns would be like a heel until the end of time. It would have been so awesome to see that moment happen. But instead, we got a nice, squeaky, clean Rumble finish. Everybody got their little dream match. And I've never seen the match, but I see it online. This is something that happened at Wrestle Kingdom back in the day. Your New Japan super card show. It's like their WrestleMania. And so everybody wants to see this big rematch, and I get that. If you're a New Japan fan, if you're and the thing is, I like AJ Styles. See, that's the funny thing. You could come and knock me and say, "Oh, why you always talking shit about Nakamurphy?" Okay, well, how about all the good things I've said about AJ? Said of out of all the guys, you know, that the internet adores. I said AJ, and what's this? You're talking to one of the biggest Daniel Bryan fans there is. But I said, I don't like all the internet darlings because you see, anybody who does a fucking flip or a stiff kick, all of a sudden they get bowed down to like they're Jesus Christ himself. And that's simply not a fact here. That's not a reality. Some of these guys look like pure jobbers. I'm telling you, I'm looking at Adam Cole, for example. When this guy came out in the Rumble, a guy that doesn't look like he spent a day in the gym, he doesn't even look like he belongs there. You say, who is this Mama Luke when he comes out? Who the heck is this guy? He looks like a nobody. He looks like a jobber. He looks like the guys that the Bludgeon Brothers beat up every week. Anyway, okay, so let's get down to the show. We start off with Nakamurphy cutting his promo in the ring. And like I said, if we have to go through this all the way to WrestleMania, I don't know if I can make it, honestly. Are we really supposed to sit here and listen to this broken English nonsense? Now, I like one idea that Jeff Lane had over at the Vince Russo channel. Put subtitles in there. Now, when I say I'm a fan of that idea, if we have to have Nakamurphy cutting promos, it would be better to have an impassioned promo. I mean, the thing is, subtitles. Why not? It's a good idea. At least we can understand what the man is saying. But why are you forcing a man to speak English when he's clearly not comfortable talking in this language? And when he does, even though it's broken English, the broken English isn't even clear. Like it doesn't even sound like they went along, with Nakamurphy. Like they even walked them through here. It's basically like they just gave him his lines and said, "Here, just do the best you can with it." And the best he can isn't even decent, isn't even passable. Because I'm telling you, I can't even hear it. It is not even registering when he talks. I don't know what he's saying. And I'm not saying that for the effect of the video to come off as funny to make you guys laugh. I really don't understand him half the time. I'm sorry, I'm not that great with accents all the time, especially when they're that thick. You know, this goes back to being in school when I used to have like a foreign teacher. Just, you know, what it was like in a math class being taught by somebody in a thick accent. And the thing is, it's not racist. It's not being prejudiced. It's not making fun of people. It's just, you know, you kind of want to understand what people are saying, especially when you're watching a show in order to be entertained. Does anybody remember that they were watching this show supposedly to be entertained by it? I mean, I'm watching a show where I'm not even understanding the main star on it. I mean, do you guys understand that? That he's the main star now. He won the Rumble. He might not be in the main event of WrestleMania. That will probably be Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns or whoever ends up there in the Raw side. But they're going to be there in the championship match, defending the same belt won by Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. We've done this song and dance 1,000 times. You know who the guys who've worn that belt? And it's going to be fought on the stage. I mean, you know, you got to just wonder what what past champions think about this. Well, you know, what would an Iron Sheik? What does a Bruno Sammartino think of a guy like Nakamurphy being there on the grand stage, not even being able to even pronounce the name? He can't even say the acronym of the company that he is currently working for. It comes out as WW. Now tonight, I'll give him credit. I think I heard a slight E in there when he said WWE Championship, but it was pretty close to not even being an existent E. Anyway, let's forget about the pronunciation of the company. So we've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn sarcastically congratulating Nakamurphy. AJ Styles comes out, says, "Let's have a dream team match." You know, like an offshoot of the dream match. The marks are happy, the smarks are happy, the casuals, the real fans of wrestling who enjoy sports entertainment are like me, are basically crying their eyes out on the inside, basically, as we're witnessing the death of a company that used to bring us so much joy and escape and entertainment value. And we're seeing it reduced to merely entertaining and pleasing the desires of the smart marks. Oh, we want to see a dream match. Oh, sure, let's accommodate you. You know, by all means, let's make the company more to your liking. Prop your feet up, have a cigar. This is your company now. Enjoy it, folks. I mean, the thing is, you can have it. Honestly, you can have this fucking company. If this is what it's going to become and forever will be somewhere down the line, I don't know what it is. I thought when they dropped Finn Balor, when they dropped the Fuck Boys push, I thought that maybe they were wising up. Remember I talked about that last year? We were getting Cena and Reigns on Raw. We were seeing, the bigger guys coming back. The guys that looked like the stars seemed like they were reacquiring their spots in the company. And, God, I mean, and then they just seemed like they went the other way. What are they going to get it? It's like when they look at Nakamurphy, do they really see a star? Because I don't see one. I see a very unimpressive looking Japanese man where basically the only allure of him at all is the fact that he's Japanese. If this was just some white guy or something, he just wouldn't be as over. But the simple fact that he is Japanese, that he is a Japanese wrestler, that's all the fans need. Now, you could come at me, put in the comments, oh, the guy's got MMA training and all. I don't care. A look is everything. Do you think that, certain actors, let's take Robert De Niro for an example, do you think that this guy would, if he didn't have a certain distinguishable look to him, do you think that he would be as over as an actor as he was? Do you think half the musicians If they didn't look the part, they'd get to where they were. I'm saying, do you think that Kiss, for example, would be one of the biggest rock bands in the world if they didn't have the makeup and they didn't have the gimmick? Of course not. So people have to understand that the way someone is presented before you has a lot to do with their future and how things are going to go for them. Sorry if you feel a different way, but that's just a simple fact here. This is how people perceive things and why the ratings are so low. Because people are watching this and they're just seeing plain people, everyday looking people. It's not an escape anymore. When the wrestlers start looking like one of us, everyday schmoes and schmucks, no one's going to want to watch this program because it becomes not an escape, but it becomes just garbage. And that's exactly what it is. So we get a setup for the match. Backstage, Daniel Bryan makes a match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So remember when they said they weren't going to have any more matches? Well, they just found the way to weasel in another match. So we got to look forward to that again. And, I guess it's a nice little break instead of seeing them team together. They're maybe reignite their rivalry instead. But can I check off the box for none of the above? Is that possible? Uh, Rusev defeated Zack Ryder, Kofi Kingston, and Jinder Mahal in a fatal four-way match to crown the new #1 contender for the U.S. title. Jinder is, I don't know where Jinder goes from here. He's not even good enough to get a U.S. title opportunity. So we're going with Rusev. It's Rusev push attempt number 86. It's time once again. How are we going to reignite Rusev's past? Well, I mean, can we at least agree on this, guys? After WrestleMania 31, that's about as much as it's going to go for Rusev. He's never going to get back up to that point. It's dead now. He's dead in the water. Like a Rusev Day, the fans are cheering. It's not getting ratings. It's not doing anything. Can we at least admit that? It doesn't matter how much coal they keep on shoveling onto the fire in the Rusev train. He's never going to get back to where he was. And it's pretty apparent. I mean, every single time that they try to reignite this guy, they can't help themselves. They have to keep on ruining him in some way. And there's only so many times that this guy can constantly shout Rusev Day before it gets very, very old. I'm sorry, but nobody got over with just one word. They'd have catchphrases. You might want to argue that, but usually those catchphrases were surrounded by good promos and good segments, and we're not getting those. So I don't really see how Rusev Day is going to, as Wade Keller proclaims, is going to make Rusev a breakout babyface act. And Bobby Roode is boring the shit out of me. This guy is so talented. I don't know if I've ever put it. Used to say it back in my TNA reviews. I like Bobby Roode a lot. I really do. I think this guy is super talented. I think he's great in the ring, great on the mic. I think he's got a look to him. I'm happy he's on the main roster. But since he's been on the main roster, I don't like how they've been showing this guy. He hasn't really had a good opportunity for a good promo. And I think the glorious thing is lame and shitty. And I don't like his theme song. I don't like anything about the glorious gimmick. I like the robe. That fits him, but I mean, he did have a robe also in TNA as well, I believe. But the thing is, it's lame. It really is. How he has to somehow get the word glorious into every promo. Let me put it this way. It ain't that glorious, okay? The gimmick is, a lot of people have fun with this. But do you guys, realize that, back in the day, these catchphrases used to be cool? Rest in peace. That's the bottom line. Rudy Poo Candy. All these things were cool. Does anybody realize that doing glorious is fucking nerdy? It is. It's just like all these other catchphrases. Rusev Day. Balor with the arms. I mean, yup, yep, whatever the hell it may be. It's lame. It's nerdy. It's not cool. Basically, what it shows everybody that wrestling is for geekwads and nerds. It's not a cool program. Why am I watching a show if it's not cool? That, why would we watch shows if they're not cool? I mean, think about that for a minute. If we don't have cool characters and they're not saying cool things on a show that's supposed to be of this caliber, where it's testosterone fueled and shit, why are we watching it? It's glorious. You guys think that's cool? That's like an intriguing thing that draws your attention to his character in the show? No, it's very lame. It's dumb, and it's just an insult to Bobby Roode. This guy could be doing so much more, but relegating him to like it's a comedy act. It is glorious. What are you telling me that's not meant to be there for comedic effect? People were going gaga in NXT when they came out with his theme song. I listened to the theme song. I'm like, this is the song that everybody likes. So forget about all Jim Johnston's, all the great compositions he's made throughout his career. Well, let's give it to CFO for coming up with this, just comedic theme that's not even catchy or good. I could I can name 50 theme songs that are superior to this one. I don't like anything about the glorious gimmick. I mean, what is the glorious gimmick? It's all about a guy that says glorious all the time. Wow, what a gimmick. So creative, so entertaining. Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, we got to find something to do with these guys now. They barge into Breezango's office. I don't know really why they're there. They knock over a table. It's like, okay, so, we need to find something for these guys to do. So now they're going to focus on another team. I mean, how pathetic can you make a team look where they've got to go down to the comedy team level of Breezango because they failed? They got beat 2 straight falls. I mean, what an embarrassment. Wouldn't it have been better served for them to like lay out the Usos, just obliterate them to get revenge for being embarrassed by losing 2 straight falls? But no, instead, no, we're not going that route. We're going to just make them look sad and look like they're just, beaten down and they have to just pick on a less aggressive team. The Usos cut a promo. The thing with the locking of the gate during the promo, which I guess was maybe shown on the Titantron for the live crowd, I thought that, again, was lame, corny, and cheesy. And you can be like, Brad, but you like the entertainment aspect of stuff. Yes, I do. But the thing is, and you like presentation, and yes, I do again, but the problem here is there's a way of doing it without it being corny, cheesy, and campy. I mean, it looked like a fucking cartoon gate. And there's a way they could, it wasn't really needed at all. They could have verbalized something. The Usos are creative enough. Once again, it was a good promo. They're exciting. I love their heel gimmick. I do. Their claim that the greatest tag team is true. They're a really great tag team. And the thing is, what I always said is I never knocked the Usos' wrestling skills. I always said that when they were doing the yelping at the entranceway, really force feeding us that Samoan gimmick, it was lame, campy, and cheesy. So they should probably move on to something else. And they did. But just don't give us that stupid prison gate crap. That thing is, it's stupid. When they're saying on lock, okay, yes, but we don't need the visual effect. And then, this would have been the perfect time to have, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin beat them senseless. But they were talking about how no team could, if any team thinks they got the guts, they could step up. So the Bludgeon Brothers come out. They just stare at them. There's no interaction between the teams. This would have been also another great opportunity. If they're going to turn the Bludgeon Brothers into their next opponents, they should come out and obliterate the Usos because it would make sense right after. If you're going to get rid of Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, which I think would it would be a good opportunity, but you've already spent them already. So, okay, good idea. Move on to the Bludgeon Brothers. These guys are impressive. They look like they could take the titles off of the Usos like that. So it's definitely, these are viable contenders. They're not doing anything with them. They just been beating up jobbers for weeks. So they come out, they stare at them, and I don't know where the Usos went. Whatever, they walked past them. But why wouldn't the Bludgeon Brothers, if they want the titles, if that's what they're alluding to, why do they have to allude to it? Get to the next story already. Have them go in the ring and beat the shit out of the Usos. Bring it, to can there be a climax on this show? Could there be some excitement? God damn it, do something. But what happens? They just walk to the ring, and the announcers just allude to the fact, oh, what did the Usos think about that? Well, I don't know. Maybe what would the Usos think if the Bludgeon Brothers beat the shit out of them? And then we're left thinking like, oh, wow, they might take the titles for them. These guys are huge, and they just dominated the team right after they talked about beating everybody. But once again, a failed opportunity. We're seeing a lot of those as of late. Daniel Bryan with the selfie video. And guys, I have to say it again. What is wrong with them with the selfie videos? I mean, come on already. It does not look good to be such a produced show, to have all these big graphics on the screen. You have this massive production truck. They have this big-ass production truck. They're capable of doing anything. They could pipe in music any part of the building. They could put graphics up wherever they want. They have so much tech in that truck. They could do amazing things. They could do these amazing pyrotechnic displays. They're not doing it right now to save money, but they are capable of so much. And they are relegating their employees to using one of these to take goddamn promos. Like, it's cool to, like, snap yourself doing a promo, and they're doing all this guerrilla style videography, and I think it looks like fucking trash. Especially Daniel Bryan, where he's got himself, at least some of the wrestlers are doing it in a good way. He had, like, the camera so low that, like, you couldn't even really see the very top of his head. I mean, wow. This looks horrible for a show that's being broadcast on cable television on the USA Network in prime time. To have them basically doing a poorly shot YouTube video. I mean, the thing is, like, you're looking at me now in this video, and this is even a better shot than Daniel Bryan was giving you. So anyway, enough about the videography of it. Forget about the shot and the extreme close. I mean, how close would I'm sorry, guys, but how close? It would be very annoying. Can you imagine if I did the whole video just like this? I mean, I guarantee you a lot of people would just turn the video off right there, because that would be not even annoying, but it would be distracting. You'd be looking up my nostrils. You'd be looking at my boogers. You'd be looking at the spinach between my teeth in every single video. And, it's not an attractive look. It's not to have to watch, visual presentation where the person is right on top of you. You could almost smell Daniel Bryan's breath. You could even smell the soy on his breath. I mean, God, just horrifying. And the other thing he was talking about, which was even more horrifying, was a top 10 list. And the way I'm understanding it is people are going to vote, and the talent is also, they're not allowed to vote for themselves. I didn't really quite understand it, but it just seems like a bad idea. They're not creative enough to, so Road Dogg ain't creative enough to come up with his own ideas. So now they're going to have to rely on some list that people are, going to put together. They're going to determine top contenders and all this nonsense. But just write a consistent, entertaining show. Forget about lists and stuff. You can't write your own. What is the thing with lists? Forget about lists. Forget about top tens. It's not needed on this show. Just write something entertaining. Forget about, who's number one, number two. Who cares? The way the show's written, everybody is at -10. Nobody even deserves to be at number one at the moment because there are no number ones. They all look like second place players. So write a good show, and then we could worry about top tens, imaginary top tens. The internet's already full of imaginary stars and stuff. Now we got to worry about imaginary lists. Um, then Shane McMahon, was talking about the top 10, and in walks Ty Dillinger. Oh, the top, to get it, top 10, the perfect 10. What a jobber. Oh, God. So, I'm looking at this guy, Ty Dillinger, and I'm like, oh, wow. Another guy. Then in walks Baron Corbin, someone who looks like a star. And first, Baron Corbin challenges Shane, tells him to do something. He's like, aren't you a McMahon? He's insulting him. And there's sometimes when Shane McMahon is so laid back and passive aggressive, it's like he's a totally different person than he was in the Attitude Era. Yeah, I get he's older and stuff, but how come Vince McMahon remains the same way as he gets older, but Shane McMahon is not? Sometimes Shane McMahon looks like he's like half asleep during these segments. And I said it in the past. He's kind of improved. He's adjusted to being, because he's been back now for 2 years, so you'd kind of expect somebody to be, reacquainted with their surroundings, and he has. But I just really despise this very, very calm Shane McMahon. And it just showed right here, like, Baron Corbin's getting aggressive. He's yelling and stuff, and Shane McMahon is just talking in this light voice, and it's just not realistic to the situation that he's in. It seems like Shane is just, he's indifferent to what's going on around him. A little bit of enthusiasm would be appreciated. I understand the show's garbage, but, you could at least have us pretend like you're having a good time there at least, or you care about the show that's going on around you. So we have a match with Ty and Corbin tonight. Why? I don't know. Charlotte comes out. She's being interviewed by Renee Young. They talk a little bit about, Asuka winning, whatever they talked about. I don't even remember at this point. Riot Squad comes out. They did the little Ronda Rousey package before. Once again, Ronda's not even there. How can you have this girl on the Rumble? She doesn't touch anybody. She comes out waving and smiling, totally out of character. And this is the thing, guys. What I really have to say, I don't think that this Ronda Rousey thing is going to be a success at all. This Ronda Rousey looks like she's going to be extremely hard to work with. We're talking about a girl that after she lost 2 fights, just 2 fights. See, that's the thing that a lot of people say. She had a lot more wins than losses, but the thing was, it was the way how she treated those losses. And you gotta be perfectly honest about this. The fact that she went on Ellen of all shows and talked about wanting to kill herself over the result. So she's a millionaire and she wants to kill herself because of the result of a fight, even though she's bathing in money. See, the thing is, what people have to understand about Ronda Rousey, and maybe I should save this for another video, and I probably will. I will talk about this and really encompass all my thoughts on her. The limelight was fading from Ronda Rousey, and so she decided, let me talk about, oh, look at me. I'm going to kill myself conveniently now, so pay attention to me, even though I have millions of dollars, and the only reason I have for killing myself is because I had a fight, and because people were mocking her. Well, that was because you had such a big mouth, and you said that, oh, nobody could beat me, and sure enough, somebody bigger and stronger came along and knocked your block off. So, lo and behold, someone beat you, because there's always, as good as you think you are, there's always somebody better out there. Too bad that's, not the case for the current roster, that, it just gets worse and worse. I wish it was like that for WWE. But anyway, Ronda's here. And so now we know Ronda's a snowflake. Ronda's going to be very hard to deal with. When we're talking about a person that took two losses so near and dear to her heart, that she actually had to go on the show to talk about killing herself. Instead of like checking herself in, to get help, she goes on Ellen to simply talk about it. Well, it doesn't look like it was that much of a threat to your life, because the first reaction you had to the suicidal thoughts was going on Ellen, a show where a woman dances around with her guests. So, okay, back to the whole thing. So the Riot Squad comes out. They attack Charlotte. Carmella comes out. She rushes out. She's going to cash in the briefcase. This would have been a good moment to have a memorable SmackDown, even if it was a horrendous show. Okay, get something there. So maybe the people next would be like, oh, well, things could happen, so maybe I should watch SmackDown again. No, just a false alarm. So the referee is taking too much time. I don't understand. He's telling the timekeeper, like, well, I don't know, what is he doing? Was he giving the State of the Union address to the timekeeper? What takes so long to hand the briefcase to somebody and tell them to start a match? I mean, it looked ridiculous. It really did. So this buys time for Charlotte to get up, and Carmella says, never mind, and she takes off with her briefcase. Okay, so, there you go. Backstage, and good God help me, AJ Styles approaches Nakamurphy backstage. They talk, he says, do you have a game plan for tonight? Nakamurphy says, I'm beef about man. What? Excuse me? What did he say? Beef about man. I mean, it sounds half the time like, not only is it that he doesn't know how to speak English, but it sounds like he's drunk half the time, honestly. I mean, really, like, it's him just slurring his words, and I don't know if that's part of his gimmick. Does he do that in Japanese? I mean, I don't get it anyway. So, he says, are you messing with me? And he goes, I'm messing with you. Holy cow. And then he said something at the end, and I swear to God, I did not know what he said at all. At least when he comes by, I have to think about it for a few seconds, and then I understand what he said. This time, I had no idea what he said. And if AJ didn't say at the end, if he didn't reiterate what he said, he says, listen to me, listen to you. I was like, is that really the word that he said at the end of that little backstage segment? He says, listen, he said, we'll be fine, just listen to me. And that part, how could I not understand listen to me? I mean, this guy really, due to the idea with the subtitles, or just stop having him do promos. And the funny thing is that you've got the YWC out there not even challenging this, not even calling the WWE on this. They're so blinded. I can't wait for this great match between AJ Styles and Nakamura. It's going to be a dream match. Fantastic. But, that's still 3 months away. In the meantime, we have to listen to him, and we can't even understand him saying a simple phrase like, just listen to me. You guys are pathetic. You really are. I mean, you're really going to get behind this style of promo? Jeez, Baron Corbin defeated Ty Dillinger. Okay, good. I don't know what this really means. It doesn't move anybody forward post-Rumble. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeated Breeze Dongo. Okay, I kind of figured that happened. So, Styles and Nakamurphy defeated Cammy. There you go. So, your dream team And like, I don't understand like what the point is here. If you're gonna beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on this show, then what's the point of having them face off against each other for #1 contendership? And are they really, seriously, honestly, going to give us another Styles Zayn match and a Styles Owens match when we've already seen those matches multiple times? Just because it's on a different show and this time he's defending the title doesn't make it any different. You already showed that match. Why do we want to see it again? I mean, guys, I don't know. This show is just horrible. It is beyond bad at this point. This is what comes of satisfying the marks, I guess, Turn over the whole company to the marks. Let them do with it as they please. Cater to them in any way. And this is the type of product you're going to get. You're going to get a boring show, devoid of any entertainment. You're going to get strictly wrestling. And I mean, like, does anybody realize, like, once again, this show's going on and everything outside of building the WrestleMania with AJ and Nakamurphy? What happened on this show? It's post-Rumble and nothing is even happening. You have Ronda Rousey. That's supposed to be your big draw there, right? She's not even on either show this week. Not on Raw, not on Smack. How can they show her on at the Raw Rumble? And not only that, but nothing even happened at the Rumble. She shook hands with Stephanie McMahon. That's all that happened. She pointed at the sign a couple of times. Okay, great. So from this point, where do we go from here? There's no follow-up. Will she be there next week? I don't know. She might not even be there until WrestleMania week. Who knows? They're talking about this, and no one's even questioning, well, when's she going to show up next? If she's a full-time employee, why is she not there? Let's go, right? They were training her. She's ready to go. They debuted her. Well, where is she? Nowhere to be found. Anyway, guys, so I'll do that little Ronda Rousey rant for you. And anyway, motherfuckers, it's been your YWC champ. I'm signing out.